I think it's more important now than ever to prepare the best that you can. Thank you, Genesis Gold Group, for sponsoring this video. Hello, YouTubers. Alaska Prepper here. I'm laughing because I've got gloves on, and I just had to turn the camera on with my nose. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. I wish I would have seen what left that behind. Look at that. I mean, it's really long. But I'm going on my morning walk. So today is a little earlier than normal because little Miss Alaska Prepper didn't go to school today. So it's about 6 o'clock in the morning, and look at all the light we have. And it is kind of chilly outside. It's still pretty chilly outside in the morning. It's definitely below freezing. I wanted to talk about, on this walk, about how people in general, all right? People in general have no idea what's coming down the line. So you all know that I'm not reporting on your everyday news, right? But I do see little tidbits here and there. And then I do a little bit of research, my own research, just for my own curiosity. And then I like to talk about it with you all while I'm doing my morning walks. And I'm actually going to go a little further today. Today we're going to go on the main road and see if we can get at least 1 mile out and 1 mile back. So we're going to walk 2 miles today, ladies and gentlemen. Got to start somewhere, right? But anyways, the main roads, yesterday, when I was coming back in from town, I noticed that you have enough clearance on the side, on the shoulder of the road, to be able to walk safely. And there's not that much ice. There's a patch of ice down there, but not that much. I'll show you when we get there. I'm sure you already know this about this. Is it called a Unicoin? The digital currency, or CBDC, that was put out by the IMF, I believe, that is world encompassing. And I noticed, looking at it for a little bit, that Unicoin, that it has like all of the flags of all of the countries, whether those countries are friendly with each other or not. And this entity, that's not an elected entity, they decided to just, by edict, go ahead and say, well, we're going to go ahead and make a world currency. That's what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, that Unicoin is a world currency. I believe that what backs it up is a SDR, special drawing rights, which is another form of fiat currency. Right? And the SDR has been around for many years. And it is an IMF product. And the IMF, again, is not an entity that's been elected by anyone or any country, ladies and gentlemen. So that's how it starts. They've got their Unicoin. Then they'll have all of the other CBDCs that governments come up with, just like here in the United States, they're coming up with the FedCoin, right? It's supposed to be launched, I believe it's in July of this year. We'll see if that happens. However, I think that before they launch that FedCoin, I hope this doesn't happen. I hope they don't launch it, period. But I think something has to happen to push the people to want it. The majority of the people. Something has to happen to push the majority of the people in America to want that FedCoin, to demand that FedCoin. People have to be in such a way that they'll be like, I want that. Why haven't you come out with it already? That's how much people have to be hurt. But that's not all. You can take all of the cons, right? Because I don't really see there being many pros in a centrally banked digital currency. Why? Because of the first word, central. It is a centralized digital currency. So that takes away any pros that it may have. Whether it's fast transactions, low cost transactions, you don't have to wait to get paid, etc., whatever, ladies and gentlemen. That centralization takes away any pros from that coin. But then you go ahead and take the cons, all right? Now let's go ahead and think about the cons out loud. And if I miss any, leave it in the comments, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very important conversation to be having. Not only here on YouTube, but with your family members and your friends. But like I was saying, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and talk about the cons, all right? Let's go ahead and talk about how with a centrally backed digital currency, you are going to be a number to the system more so than you are now. You're a number to the system now, but now you can actually still talk to a person, okay? And if there's a problem with your money, you can still talk to a person. When you get a centrally banked digital currency, ladies and gentlemen, whenever there's a problem with your account, how easy do you think that it's going to be for you to actually get a hold of someone that can help you? And how long will it take? Think about how every time that you call for something on a phone, a company or whatever, how it now takes 2 or 3 or 4 steps of you conversing with some AI, all right, with some kind of a computer voice before you can actually talk to a person. Now go ahead and multiply that times 10. And that's how bad it's going to be with a CBDC. Now, what about your privacy? You will have no privacy. Many people say, well, you don't have privacy now, AP. Pretty darn close, but I can still go to the coin shop, spend $1,000 on silver, and nobody know about it, all right? Unless my phone is recording 24/7, like some people say that it is, right? But you can still take your phone, you can leave it in the truck, right? You still have some form of privacy with being able to use dollar bills, even though they are fiat currency. And by the way, something that I did forget to mention about that Unicoin that they got coming out, that's just another form of fiat currency. Just like the dollar is now, just like the Fed coin will be, it's another form of fiat currency that will start us on a path that people will eventually realize, just like they're realizing right now about the paper dollars and the digital dollars that there are out there. They will eventually realize that it's nothing but another form of control, right? That's what fiat currency is, by the way. It's just a form of control. Right? And before I continue, ladies and gentlemen, let me say thank you very much to the sponsor of this video, Genesis Gold Group. Now listen, I always advocate that people check 4, 5, 6 different places before they decide where to put their hard-earned fiat currency. Because even though it is fiat currency, ladies and gentlemen, you had to work for that. All right? It's the government that doesn't have to work for the money that it produces out of thin air. But you have to work for your money. So check 4, 5, 6, 7 different places, so that you can find out for your benefit where you can store some of this fiat currency. Let me tell you a quick story. Yesterday I was at the vet, and I was bringing Karma. She needed her shot. And I was talking to the sergeant that was there. Very nice guy. Very nice guy. We started talking, and what did we start talking about all of a sudden? He actually started the conversation by telling me, yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to do as far as investing my money. Where should I put it? Because everything is going to go down. And I'm like, Sergeant, I said, get yourself some silver every time that you get paid. I said, and if you can afford it, get a little bit of gold too. And that started on like a 30-minute long conversation. But I told him, go get a little bit of silver and put it away every payday. Don't think about it anymore. Just put it away. And if you ever need it, you'll know, right? You'll know that you need it. And like I said, we talked for about half an hour about how the dollar is fiat currency, about how it's going to continue to lose value, about how that value that is going to lose is really minutes and hours of his life that he put towards that fiat currency. So why not put it somewhere where you're going to retain your purchasing power at the very least? I personally believe, and I'm not a financial advisor, that silver is going to be going to the upside a lot more than what gold is. But that's not why I get it. And that's why I also recommend that you all check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different places. But if you're going to check 4 or 5 different places, make Genesis Gold Group one of those places that you check. It may be for you, and it may not be for you, but you won't find out unless you try it out. Hey, that rhymed, ladies and gentlemen. And another con of CBDCs, ladies and gentlemen, is that, hey, I don't like what this fat guy on YouTube is talking about. This Alaska Prepper guy, man, I just don't like him. And we need to do something to shut him up. Okay? Now, I'm sure that there's many people that feel that way now. But what if the people that felt that way right now about Alaska Prepper had the ability to demonetize my entire life? Not my channel, my life. What if they had the ability to turn off that CBDC that I have, or the CBDC app that I have on my phone, just because they didn't like what I was saying? That's another thing, ladies and gentlemen. Facial recognition is becoming more prevalent everywhere you go. You see cameras. Every time you stop at a street light, you see cameras on those street lights. What if you were near some kind of a protest that the party that is in power in the government at that point in time did not approve of, and your face showed up, and someone says, hey, we need to shut that person's CBDC off, just like they did in China when the banks were failing here last year and a lot of people were protesting. They shut off the people's ability to travel, right? So we're not going to be able to exercise our voice with a centrally banked digital currency. Now listen, at first, things are going to be great. At first, once we have this crisis, whatever it may be with the banking system or whatever that constitutes people wanting a CBDC, and they actually get it, things are going to be great. People are going to be like, oh, I told you, AP. I told you, things are fine. There's nothing wrong. You're Chicken Little. You're the boy that cried wolf. But then, ladies and gentlemen, eventually the wolf will show up at your door. Eventually, the government will start becoming more restrictive. We'll start taxing you more. We'll start telling you what to do more and more with your life and your labor. The government, the Federal Reserve, pretty much says what your labor is worth now, okay? Because the Federal Reserve is pretty much the sole entity in charge of determining what the value of a dollar is. And if the Federal Reserve can determine what the value of a dollar is, then they can determine what the value of your labor is, because your labor is paid for with dollars, unless you do direct bartering. So, ladies and gentlemen, a CBDC is the worst form of money that has ever been created in the history of mankind. Why? Because it's not made for man, i.e. you and me. It's made for governments, i.e. an entity that throughout the history of time has never cared about the people that it's supposed to be governing. So think about that, ladies and gentlemen. Now, let's go ahead and throw a little bit of AI in the mix, right? Remember I was talking to you about that AI that when you call a phone number, for whatever reason it is, you have to go through about 5 or 6 or 7 different programs, AI programs, to ask you, hey, what do you need? Can I help you? What are you looking for? Etc., etc., etc. Now, let's say that you're going to the supermarket and you have that digital currency and you've been really good and you're allowed to spend your little credits and you still have carbon credits left, right? Because you haven't eaten that much beef. You're not on the carnivore diet, right? You're not on the keto diet. So you're eating all of the grass and vegetables that they want you to eat, right? And you haven't driven that much that month, right? So now let's say we get past all that, right? But you go into a store. Guess who's going to be charging your CBDC? Nobody is. AI is. You're going to go to the store. You're going to pick whatever it is that you want to buy. And then before you check out, your app on your phone is going to tell you, yep, you have enough credits to pay for everything. You have enough carbon credits to cover your shopping trip, etc., etc. And then it's just going to let you walk out the door. If you don't, then the cart that you're pushing is automatically going to lock, or a robot is going to get in front of you before you can leave the door, right? Now, what if there's a problem? Who do you complain to? What if you're a starving mother, right? What if you lost your phone? The possibilities are endless of why it is that you will not walk out of that door of that supermarket with what you need to feed your family. What if you're a mother who doesn't have enough credits, who has children at home to feed, and just doesn't have the credits for whatever reason? Maybe your social credit score is just not that great, right? Because maybe you did things earlier in your life that you maybe now regret and fixed, but now you're paying the price with a social credit score that an AI is in charge of saying, yep or no. Yep, you can come in, or no, you can't come in. Or, hey, look, you did this when you were 17 years old. You see that? It's on Facebook. You can't come into the store. AI doesn't have a conscience. AI doesn't have a heart. AI does not care. It's binary. It's either yes or no, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you mix AI with a coin, with a one world currency, because if all of the Fed coins, CBDCs that governments make for their people, if they all fall under that Unicoin that we discussed earlier, it is a one world currency, ladies and gentlemen. Just like the Federal Reserve is the Federal Reserve note is the world reserve currency right now, that Unicoin is aiming to be the one world currency where all of the other currencies fall under it. Maybe we can talk about that later on this afternoon when we do our live stream. All right, we're going to go ahead and do it at 3 p.m. Alaska time. All right, and that'll be 7 p.m. Eastern time for those of you that want to join in. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we live in very interesting times. I hope that you are preparing, still preparing. Don't stop preparing, no matter what anyone tells you. I think it's more important now than ever to prepare the best that you can. All right, so hopefully we'll see you this afternoon. God bless every one of you. Thank you very much for all of your support, ladies and gentlemen. Again, thank you, Genesis Gold Group, for sponsoring this video. Let me show you a little picture of the back here. Look at that. The sun hasn't really broken the ridgeline just yet, but it's going to be a beautiful day, I believe. Have a great day, ladies and gentlemen. God bless every one of you. I'm Alaska Prepper. I'm out.